and welcome to Healthier Family Relationship. I'm so excited to have you for another day because today we're all going to talk about play. So thank you, Gelly, for being with us. We know that it's an important topic and sometimes we feel so overwhelmed because we don't know what it's play and how parents, how as parents we can play with our children. So thank you very much for taking the time into that conversation. So now parents know what they can do to manage their professional life, but also family time and to incorporate playing into that. So thank you very much, Gelly, for being with us. And please tell us more about you and about what you do.
Okay, first of all, I'm so excited to be here. This is a fabulous topic and close to my heart. Okay, I'm a mom of 2 adult children. I'm a grandmother of 2, and I'm a child and family therapist now for over 20 years. So I raised my children while being a professional. I see my daughter having young children while working, and this is the role that us women play in the 21st century. Most households have 2 working parents, and single moms got to make a living too, right? So moms are in the workforce. And one of the things that I've seen from all my work with families is that moms need concrete tools because otherwise it's overwhelming and it feels like, okay, forget it. Let's just throw the whole thing out. You know, that saying, throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they're like, forget it. There's so much to do. We've got to get the kids up. We've got to get them to school or Zoom school with COVID crazies, right? We've got to get dinner on the table. We actually have to make a living, or we want to make a living. We want to be entrepreneurial. We want to do things. We want to also have that good feeling of accomplishment while raising a family. How do we do this thing called play? And I've really, made this my life's mission. Not coming out of the place like, okay, yeah, this is cool, we need to play, but seeing, excuse me, how many mental health problems could be solved if parents took the time to play with their children. So we've got to give parents the tools. Everybody knows that it's wonderful to sit with your kids, but like you said, we're so busy. Where do we fit this in? So that's me. I work privately in private practice, and I'm online and offline. I started out offline doing the parenting class called Playful Parenting, and now I'm online doing that as well as a year-long program. So I'm excited. Give me the questions and I'll give you some answers.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. So the first question is why it is so important. So you talk about playing, and also as educator, I love saying that, have fun while learning. So playing, it needs to be there. But, when you are managing a successful professional life, and as you said, you have so many tasks to do at home, why should parents think about playing? Why it is so important?
Okay, so I'll give you the research and then I'll give you the practical piece, okay? The first thing when we think about children and play is that play is a child's first language. Everything they're ever going to know in life happens through play. So when you park a kid in a playroom and you walk in there, you're going to see them playing out what's going on in their life. And because it's their first language, when we join in that, we allow them to grow, we allow the attachment to be fostered, right? And the big key word nowadays is attachment. We want our kids to feel connected. With so many crazy things going on in the world, whether it's the COVID crazies, whether it's the kids, as they become teenagers and our concerns about smoking, about drugs, about alcohol, about all of that stuff, your insurance policy as a parent is connection and attachment. And that happens through playing with your children. The other thing, just practically speaking, for any mom listening, is that misbehavior typically comes because the children don't get attention. So what happens is, we like to say, children will take any attention they can get, even negative attention. So, you know, the research is a key indicator here as to why we should take the time, but more so practically speaking, we want children that listen. We want children that don't give us grief at bedtime. We want kids that are helpful, that are cooperative. Play is your insurance policy. Simply stated.
It is, and thank you for that. So now the other question is, now that we understand better that it's essential for a child to play, the question is, what type of game? When we talk about play, what is it?
Okay, so there are a few ways to play with a child. I named my course Playful Parenting because we have this idea in our heads that we need to sit down, we need to play a board game, we need to play blocks, we need to take our kids ice skating, the thing that we really need to think about is being playful. So whether you're doing a nice little activity for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for an hour, for the afternoon, the idea is not to give your kids play and then be barking at them and be like, come on, I gave you this time, so let's do it, let's go, you know? The idea is to be playful. And one of the myths that I love busting through is that when you become an adult, that doesn't mean that play is only for the preschool teacher. You don't become smaller when you're playful and you're silly and you're fun. Your kids just happen to like you better. Things go smoother when you're playful with your children. So one of the biggest things, and Lydia, we discussed this, is that, well, we don't have time. So we all know, take the afternoon off, take the vacation, spend time with your kids. But how do we actually translate this to day-to-day activity? So what I like to say is that think about the concept of creating parenting gold in every interaction that you have with your child. Because if you break it down, you are spending time with your children anyway. Who wakes them up in the morning? Who gets them into the kitchen? Who gets them into the bath, right? Who does homework? Who does bedtime? I'm just thinking about, you know, how much time do we spend, what I call, you know, they say there's helicopter parenting for parents who are standing on top of their parents, and then there's parenting which is hands off and kids can do whatever they want. But there's what I like to call the EMS dispatcher or the military commander. Boom, 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 boom. And regardless of whether we like to acknowledge it or not, most of the time we're in military commander mode. We're dispatching, do this, do that, do the other. That's the time where you can be playful and you can play. And I'll give you a couple of ideas about what you can do, because if you, as a mother, decide to do that, you are going to have a 2-minute window here, a 5-minute window there, a 7-minute window there. Yeah, you'll probably have a half-hour window somewhere else, but we all know that it's great to sit for a half hour with your kids. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about finding those moments, you know, You know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, a smile a day keeps the doctor away, a playful game keeps the doctor away. That's what I'm talking about in terms of being a busy parent.
That is good, because you know, when we talk about play, we think about the moment, you know, secure 30 minutes, 1 hour to play. But now you are you put the highlight into not necessarily just to secure that time slot, but to be playful at any moment, to have that interaction, that nice, joyful interaction with your children, to be fun and just to play. So now the follow-up question is how, for example, you know, in the morning or during the day, I want to be more playful with my children without going into extreme, you know, still managing and, you know, keep going. So can you tell us, for example, one example of being playful inside the home, but also outside?
Okay, sure. I'm thinking about balancing activities that many of us did as kids, you know, put that book on your head, walk, make sure it doesn't fall. Now you're serving dinner or you're prepping dinner, right? And your kids are on your nerves. Let's just say it how it is. Okay, I'm just throwing out one. I have hundreds of these ideas, some that we all remember, but I said this one because I knew we all did it as kids, right? And you've got the kid holding a box of spaghetti on their head, right? And they're trying to walk to you and back. So an opportunity has now been created to be playful, to have connection and fun, because these things can gradually they can go from a floppy little doll on the head for a little one to a box of spaghetti to a kid who's 10 can easily try to balance a bottle of seltzer on their head. You know, you can even do like a balancing activity while you're laying on the floor and you're sitting there stirring that soup pot, and your kid's gonna laugh. They say, oh, mommy's saying to lay on the floor and put a box of pasta on my feet and lift it. Isn't that silly? Come on, right?
Yes, it is. And you know, that is good, because you don't need to look for something extreme or hard. You can take everyday items and do something playful with it. So this is good. And for outside, when you are outside, are you also be playful? How can parents be also?
Absolutely. I have a big retaining wall on my property. So we have lots of opportunities to be playful because the kids want to walk on it. Now, you can't walk on it unless you're, well, when you're 8 or 10, you can walk on it alone, right? But in between, it's mommy needs to hold you or grandma, right? And then we play hide and go seek behind bushes, peekaboo, behind trees, behind cars.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my favorite is my 2.5-year-old grandson, Mayor, who loves running on our property. And we're fortunate to live in the suburbs, have got a nice property. And he didn't understand the concept of peekaboo. He understood, you know, when you put a blanket over your head, but he didn't get the part about the trees.
Okay.
So he stood behind the tree and I said, Grandma's gonna count till 10, you hide. And I'm counting, and at 10, he peeks his head out to see me. And then we went this way, and then we went that way. And I taught him how to do peekaboo, but he now learned a new game, hide and go seek. And every week when he comes to my house, he wants to play peekaboo, hide and seek. And now it's not only with grandma, now it's with other kids, my neighbors. He'll call them in, 7, 10, 12. He'll say, Grandma taught me peekaboo, hide and seek.
Yes.
And now we pull everybody in. And it just brings such joy.
Yes.
Right? And you can walk up steps, by the way, with a retaining wall. We practice jumping, hopping, holding hands, letting go. These are all, and we attach songs to them.
Yes. That is,
Right?
you know, just talking about it brings smiles into our faces. So
Yeah.
for sure, doing it will entertain the kids and bring also good memories, because sometimes it's, you know, the day-to-day interaction. Then when you remember, you know, your childhood, you say, yes, I used to have a lot of fun, not necessarily the big trip, but, you know, the day-to-day interaction, dancing, when, you know, you prepare something, great mood, everybody's laughing, everybody, you know, having fun. So this is very good. Can you now tell us how we can connect with you? What is your offer and how we can, you know, use it?
Okay, so I prepared what I call a resource guide, and it's called 5 Simple Ways to Entertain Your Kids Without Tech. So if you've learned anything, I'm all about putting the tablets away, the phones away, Netflix, YouTube Kids. Please, mommies, put it to the side and allow your children to be children. I know we want our kids to be educated and we want them to understand how to use the internet. They don't have to learn when they're 4 months old, 10 months old, 2 years old, 5 years old. They've got time. And the window of play, I would say, is 0 to 10, 11, 12. Kids will choose play with you rather than be addicted to a device. Once they get addicted, that will take away from their ability to understand connection, love, nurture, and play. So this guide is all about finding simple everyday activities, some of which you may know, some which may be new, but we all need reminders. And that's why I kept it simple, because I thought about myself as a parent raising children, being raised by my mother and watching my daughter having children. What do we really need? We don't need fancy, we just need simple. So it's a wonderful guide for you. And if you choose and you'd like to connect with me, I offer the option of having a 15-minute consult, you know, chat about anything that's going on for you, and I'm happy to connect and share my expertise if there's a tip or two that I can give you. And certainly if you'd like to learn about me, I'm Parenting with Gelly all over social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. I've got a Facebook group and my parenting course, Playful Parenting. So lots of information there and ways to connect with me.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for all those information. And the viewers will have all the link that they need so they can connect with you and take advantage of the 5, you say 5 tips?
5 simple ways to
5
entertain your
simple
kids
ways.
without tech.
That is good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gelly, for taking the time and to explain to us what, you know, how we can be more playful with our children. Thank you also to all our viewers who took the time to watch the discussion. And remember, what we want you to have, it's a healthier family relationship. And while doing that, remember to have fun and to be playful. So thank you again, Gelly, and I'm going to see all our viewers tomorrow with another speaker. Thank you.
All right. See you. Thanks for having me.